There's a saying that you know a person the moment you see his TV bigger in size than his bookshelf. Well, like most people, one is not fond of administration.
In the course of your bureaucratic corridor and a public figure, which did you find more fulfilling?
Our family was like an Italian family. Everybody talks, nobody listens. The usual one. And I got into the IAS because somebody made a mistake. I'm sure. From day one, I decided not to disown my background.
How does this courage word go with you? Is it like you're born with it? Like, how can you be so fearless? Like, the whole India knows you as one of the fearless person we ever know.
During the Naxalite period, I reached a stage when the Naxalites were the establishment. So my first encounter, I told them to go to hell. Fear is something which is natural. Person who doesn't fear is a nutcase. Don't look at everything with money in your mind. If you were among my class friends, they would say, Gandhibina. Don't start your lectures now.
Hello and welcome to my show Carestories. This is not an interview session with my guests. Instead, this is my dream, my passion, my own storytelling with the eminent guests on my show who has inspired me on my own life's journey. I am a storyteller who is trying to impact and bring little change in our community through the real life stories of either me or my guests. Today I have with me a guest who can be best described as a man who is guided by principles and not by popularity. A man who doesn't echo opinions but owns them. I would like to introduce on my show today a man whom I think a very handsome, composed, yet the fearless guest of my show, Mr. Jawhar Sircar. Welcome, Mr. Sircar.
Thank you.
It's a privilege to have you on my show today. I don't know how to and what to ask you, but let me start by asking, looking back way beyond, tell us one moment of your life that shaped you as your interest in the public service or cultural heritage.
Well, like most people, one is not fond of administration and the government and the bureaucracy. It is only healthy to have a disregard for all of them. I grew up in that atmosphere also. But I remember when I was 13 years old, my family had to go to Patna, all of us. So we booked a coach of 72 seats to go to Patna. And our family was like an Italian family. Everybody talks, nobody listens, the usual one. So this bogie was booked for us to go to Patna because my uncle was getting married. And I saw at 13 what mismanagement can be. To put it short, we missed the train.
Okay.
And all 72 of us landed, or 70 of us landed at the platform, and my father and my uncle went around. They got another bogie for the next train. Okay. But when we landed in Patna, we found something extraordinary. We found that some people were standing at the gate, asking our names, and quickly fishing out cards, even to 5-year-old, 7-year-old. On the card was written your car number and your guest house. So all of us took it, and in spite of our best efforts to make mistakes, no mistake happened. The 70 people of Barjatri, the Bharati, were put into 10 cars or 8 cars, and we were all taken very smoothly. I thought that was extraordinary. Then we found that the bride's, my auntie's father was an IAS officer. So he had put what we call the bandobast, the arrangements.
Yes.
And it's done like clockwork. And this, compare this to the average way in which we get around work, and I found there was a specialization, a bit of a genius in such arrangements, and everything that we wanted for the next 3 days was there. And people checking. This shook me up. So that's one of the first major reasons where I decided that this has its own merits.
Yes. In the course of your bureaucratic corridor and a public figure, which did you find more fulfilling?
You know something, I never felt any contradiction between the two. There's a reason. The reason was that since I was a student of the turbulent Naxalite period and all that, and I got into the IAS because somebody made a mistake. I mean, I'm sure. Whatever. So from day one, I decided not to disown my background. I'll put it this way. My first posting was as Assistant District Magistrate, Bardwan. I had a snob of a district magistrate who came from a very middle class family but had affected accents and acquired snobbery. So I knew what I shouldn't have, point one. So after a day's training, I took a cycle and went to the Bardwan town and wanted to have Golgappa Puchka. Now, some stupid reporter brought it out. I mean, so what? So I was called in and said that we have a different approach to life. I said, you have, not me. And then I started studying when I was posted in Calcutta. And my car would drop me at National Library every day in the evening. And the National Library would go close at 8. I never kept back the car. For years together, I took 47A. I don't know whether you know the bus. It doesn't matter whether you're a commissioner or whatever and you're getting on 47A and somebody says, hey, move your ass. That's how things move. I don't know whether I can hang on to. See, we grew up clinging to the footboards of buses when transport was in complete shambles. I can't remember the day when I went to college when I had a seat inside the bus. So if you grow up like that and then you suddenly acquire heirs, you are a fake. So best to remain what you are, and the transition from government to public life or public life to government was very smooth. I never felt any problem. But the problems I felt, I must tell you in public, were within the bureaucracy. Within the bureaucracy, there is an assumed casteism. We, they, people, subjects, citizens, etc. That comes genetically. It's a genetic behavior. You put someone behind a counter and he or she starts acting cranky after 10 minutes. So, because you have given a task and a power. So, it comes genetically.
How does this courage word go with you? Is it like you're born with it? Like, how can you be so fearless? Like, the whole India knows you as one of the fearless person we ever know.
I don't know this fearlessness. People call it stupidity. I'm not practical. Not very practical, that if you do this, this will happen. I don't think much of the consequences. My father came from a village in Chittagong where an entire generation of youth, including girls, led by the girls, took up guns, freed Chittagong for a week, and they were all killed or sent to Andamans. It's a type of attitude. What was Mastada trying to say? He was saying that if every district of India did this, we would be free. Now, you can say it's a very romantic idea, this idea, but Chittagong Armory raid is an epoch-making event in our history. I come from a district where people are very straightforward. We don't take bullshit from anyone. And that includes school teachers, class teachers, who put our hand and argue back. Calcutta University penalized me for saying something that was not within the course for our, you see, there's a cost to it. There's a cost to it. I remember the first physical problems I had, that means attack, was when I was in college, and the entire college in 1969 in Presidency College was completely red. Completely red, just like the world is completely rightist now. You can't
Yes.
understand why. It was completely left. And during the Naxalite period, I reached a stage when the Naxalites were the establishment. When the so-called revolution was the establishment, they would decide who would do what and which class would be held. So my first day, first encounter, I told them to go to hell. The second day, they looked at me. Within the next 4 or 5 days, they found an occasion to bash me up. I was 6 feet tall. I was around 50 kgs in weight, so you can understand. I had the waist of a cabaret dancer. And the size.
Yes.
So you could understand.
You're thin and tall, yes.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And then they decided not to mess around. But then we had these incidents all through. Now, what I'm talking about is those who were more practical and complied, hated them and didn't have the courage to tell them that you are bullies, you are this and that. I don't know where they are. I need a microscope to find them out. So, compliance is a good thing, but up to a point. Now, today when I fight the system, and I'll put it quite bluntly, I fight the center and the state. Today, my best friends who tell me, please don't get into problems, please don't get hurt, you don't know, all regimes are vindictive and all that. They are those Naxalites who beat me up.
So they have become your friends.
No, so I mean, these things will happen. These things will happen. You just hold on to it, hold on to what you feel like, and let the rest of the world roll.
So you're born with these kinds of principles and you strictly adhere to it. It shows in you everywhere. Even I feel the kind of butterflies in the stomach to talk to you because you're fearless.
Stubbornness. Yeah. I guess it's stubbornness. I mean, there's no point in conceding. When my classmates now discuss this event after 50 years, they still ask me, we had a back gate and a back stairs. We all told you to go down the back stairs instead of going down the main stairs and then getting bashed up by 40 or 20 of them. Why did you not take the back stairs? I said, if I took the back stairs then, I'd be looking for back stairs all my life.
Such a wonderful statement.
Fear is something which is natural, very natural. I once read about General Montgomery, who said that every time I move into a battle, my knees shake, my hands quiver, my throat gets parched, and my heart goes boom-putty-boom. He said that is a natural feeling. The person who doesn't fear is a nutcase. Is a nutcase. You have fear, but then you go and take your decision. You take your decision.
Yes.
That's it.
How to face it.
Huh?
Yes.
Now, it's a question of what do you value most.
Yes.
Do you value yourself and your opinion? Or would you like to sort of adjust and make compromises and get along and this? I'm not asking everybody to start becoming, reckless from tomorrow morning. But there'll be always one finger that will be different. So it's part of the genetic spread.
That's why we say, you own opinions, you don't echo it. How do you think your cultural heritage thoughts could influence the community? Is it a part of community service?
Culture and education are two subjects. They are not two subjects. I call them traits that differentiate a man from an animal. There's a saying that you know a person the moment you see his TV bigger in size than his bookshelf. So you know what his priorities are. Now most people start moving on that vein. A TV or a show or this thing is always an allurement. It's a question of what priorities you take. Aesthetics. I'll give you a story. This
Yes.
I must tell you what aesthetics means and order means. I was once in charge of a security arrangement for Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Yes.
This was 1978. She was out of power and heckled by the Janata government, and I was serving the Janata government as the additional district magistrate. One of my charges was the Calcutta airport. To put it short, Mrs. Gandhi was going to Manipur and there was a clash between Congress groups and glass was broken. It came out in the paper. She said her life was being threatened. I was hauled over coals saying, why didn't I go there? I said I didn't know Chowkidari was part of my job, but next time I'll be there. So when she returned, I went to the airport and declared 144, no crowd. She came in and said, who has declared curfew? 78 was 25, 26, thin, scrawny.
Yes.
He looked at me, I said, who is the magistrate here? I said, I am. She looked at me and was totally unimpressed. She went straight up to her restroom. We had kept a restroom for her. And in administration, you are taught to check everything. So when I asked my deputy magistrate, have you checked that restroom? So I remember this day because I was young and I had asked them and the room was checked and everything. She walked and she could walk faster than me. So all her followers were falling behind. Pranab Mukherjee, Mr. Ghani Khan Chaudhary, Subrata Mukherjee, I mean the whole lot were panting to keep pace with her and I was just behind her. As she was entering her bedroom or room, she stopped for half a second, used her toe to straighten the mat and then enter. I never forgot it. A person so busy, a person so controversial had a sense of aesthetics. She could have gone over to that room for half an hour and come out with the mat remaining, doormat remaining askew.
Yes.
It's a question
didn't
of,
do that.
so aesthetic is also a question of obsession. Aesthetics are one of the roots of culture.
Being a parliamentarian, being a intellect, sharp, crisp, bureaucratic leader, I would say, which do you think, as a community service, as a community, from community point of view, which the future leaders who wanted to do, who could be empathetic to the society, could pick up, in a short way?
Well, it's like unfair question. It's like asking an octopus which of its legs is the best.
Because you are good at all. You're the master of all.
An octopus has 8 legs, so you can't ask him which one is more useful.
Yeah.
It's not
It's relatable.
bad.
Could take.
But then I see octopuses with 2 legs also, who have dispensed with 6 other legs. That hurts, they had the sensitivity, they had this thing. It is the willing subjugation of the mind to baser things. Now, if you were among my class friends, they would say, Gandhivina, don't start your lectures now. Don't start your
These are your stories. People.
Don't start your lectures now. I said, anyway, I am tired of throwing pearls before you know what. So, we have it that way. It's a question of you acquire, you see, you treasure. You treasure. I had an aunt, I remember, who was fond of making and breaking her bangles every year and redoing it. And in case you missed it, you should look and say, oh, this one is so painful. Her entire obsession was the bangle. Now she's up there somewhere in flat number such and such of heaven or hell. Who's going to look at her bangle? The point is, what are your priorities? When I see people making obscene amounts of money and chasing it, and they look at my car and say, Jawhar is such a failure in life. I said, a car is supposed to transport me. It's not supposed to brag for me. I need a good car where I can sit, I have long legs, that's all. When I see all that, I feel very, very funny. I said, what are you going to do with it? Take them up with traveler's checks. One story that, again, another story that proves this point is we went to the Andamans once. And we were taken around an island, a beautiful island, where the shore part of it was cornered by IAS officers. Now you know why we get a bad name. They had used their powers to corner plots. And one of them, the names that were given to me, one of them was a friend of mine. So I felt bad about it. I thought he was a person of principles. Now he's got his plot there and he'll be selling it off to some 5-star hotel or something. Okay, that's his priority in life. So when I met him in Delhi next, I didn't raise the topic. But basically we were talking on other things. He's a very sophisticated man otherwise. We talked about it and he talked about his son in the US who never returned and all that. And next week I heard he was dead. So what now happens to that? So you see, life has its own way of giving back. Life has a divine balance. You don't know. Somebody up there has a calculator that has an AI built in that's always going in for it. That's always working out some arithmetic. So when God gives somebody something, He also takes away a lot. There's a divine balance in everyone. Everyone's life has a large part of success in whatever domain. I had a clerk who was a very good actor. He is now famous actor in the Bengali stage. I won't mention his name.
Okay.
So, a very famous actor. So he got what he wanted. He suffered the government for 33 years or whatever, earning his bread, hating his files and work, and looking forward to his evening rehearsal. See, that's his way, but he has been repaid so well in life.
Yes.
In his own way.
Yes.
So these things, it's a question of what you prioritize.
There were a lot of many other questions which I really could, talk with you. There is no end to talking. Cutting it short, to end the question and the session, 3 questions in short I would like to ask you, which I usually do on my podcast. First is, do you think to maintain the cultural heritage of the city, of our country, we need more CSRs from companies? The corporates should come and join hands to maintain the cities or in fact our country's cultural heritage?
Yes, companies should open their purses a bit to repay to the town or city they got their profits from. But you need taste. In a flat system apartment, when you go up, one of my friends had a beautiful woodcut of the 19th century framed outside the door. And all other flats look the same. Some have potted plants, some of these things. They look. So when I asked him, this is R.P. Gupta, the icon of Bengal's culture. When I asked R.P. Da, what is that for? He said, every person who comes to supply me fish or whatever knows that my house has those 2 dancing girls. But it becomes a marker, it becomes an act of aesthetics, that I am not like the others outside, because others have come, they dumped their goods and rushed to Tolly Club to play golf and to be seen. And this man didn't do it. He also went to Tolly Club. Going to Tolly Club is fun.
Yes.
But you can't do it at the expense. So, a small thing like having a marker of a painting outside your house.
You also have the same thing in front of your house. It is an
same.
amazing painting, and I keep on asking Bodhi, how did you do it? I see it when I go to your house. I just stand in front of those paintings, for a while, appreciate, I love it, and then I go inside your house. This is lovely. The next question is, if given a chance for the leadership of the city for a week, I wouldn't say anything material, but with the values, what would you like to tell the next generation of leaders to change in them, to change the city?
You see,
Hypothetically, some ideas,
I
what
would
would you like
say
to
that
give?
don't look at everything
Yes.
with money in your mind. I was born into the permit control Raj, and I was one of those who broke down that permit control Raj to bring in liberalism in the economy, liberalization of the economy. After 30 years of that, 25 years of that, I don't know, 30 years of that, I don't know whether we did the right thing, because we did boost up the economy, boost up everything, but at the cost of a lot of other things. So if the moral fiber of a nation is destroyed, there are crooks in America, there are crooks in Britain, there are crooks everywhere. But that doesn't mean that we turn into a nation of crooks. That we make crookery a part of an integral part of the culture that we taught you from class 2. So that hurts. It's become a power, money game as an investment to acquire power, to acquire projects, to give crony benefits, to acquire more. It's a rolling sort of a project that's going on. We are in very bad times.
Success and struggle, just in 2 words.
Two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Two sides of the coin. I'll put it success and frustration. Every morning I get up and say, I've wasted my life. I'm going to do something today.
Okay.
It goes on. I mean, you can't succeed all the time.
It was wonderful speaking to you. I hope I could bring you more and more and very often to my show for people to understand, for people to realize what actually and how should children grow up, how should the people of our city stay. Listening to Mr. Sircar, I'm sure you understood, and all of you, I'm sure you keep on listening to him. We understand to do something for the nation, to understand the nation, to feel for our own country and city. We do not always have to stay on the spotlight. We can do a lot from within to understand the people and to be with them. Listening his story, I think, was one of the most inspirational story what we heard. To hear more such stories, you have to stay tuned to Carestories with me, Sophia.